How's it going today, guys? I'm just going to adjust you a little bit and then we're going to get started. Should be good there. Welcome back to class. Today we've got a great class plan today. We're going to be working on technique and Taekwondo 6 for our Poomse. Let's go ahead and get started. We're going to bow in. Chariot, Ginye, and Jumbi. We're going to start with some lines going back and forth. Keep in mind, I'm going to be periodically stopping to make sure that we touch on some of the finer points when we're doing our blocks. We're going to be doing a lot of talking about chambering and accuracy and presentation when we're going through our technique. We're going to start things off, guys, by just doing some knee drives, going back and forth through the lines. I just want to drive that knee above my waist. When I'm doing this, guys, if you don't have room, just feel free to do it statically on the spot. If you've got some room, feel free to kind of go back and forth. It's just a nice way to kind of get your hips, your hamstrings, your legs, everything kind of warmed up. Just going back and forth. Really focus on exploding that knee up. Good. We're going to go back one more time, then we're going to switch it up. Back and forth, nice and steady. Next one we're going to do in our lines is going to be a low block followed by a body punch. The way it's going to look is whatever foot's in my front. I'm going to do a chambering, low block, punch. Now when I'm going through this technique, we want to make sure that we have a nice stance, which would be get my feet underneath my hips, step straight back, my chamber. Pretend I'm peeling a carrot, coming down, punch. And if you guys will notice when I'm doing that, I have a slight chamber. It's connecting the block and the punch. So that's how we're going to work on that. Okay. So moving back and forth, it's going to start in a parallel stance. Stepping forward with my left foot, low block punch. I want to keep in mind every time, guys, that my front knee is bent, my back knee is straight, and my feet are about 2 fists apart. Okay, and then I'm just going to alternate and do the other side. So when we go through these, we really do want to make sure our body is loose right until the moment of impact. When you're chambering, we want to make sure that the hand that's coming up to do the chamber, my pinky should be on my shoulder, and then I scrape down as I get that twist. Let's do that one a couple more times, starting from our parallel stance, low block, punch. We want to make sure that that punch is right down our own center line. Switch. Another fancy way to switch, foot comes across, and then we get back into that ready position. Moving on, next one we're going to work on, guys, is going to be just a front snap kick. When I'm going through with my front snap kick, I want to make sure that my foot is completely straight all the way to the end, and then my toes are just pushed up right at the end. It shouldn't look like this, where my ankle is bent. It should be straight coming through, okay? Keeping in mind, as high as I get my knee, that's how high my kick's gonna go. So if I wanna do face height kicks, my knee's gonna have to come up to my chest. I'm just gonna alternate going back and forth. We're gonna land in a walking stance. It's okay to pivot that back foot, as long as we're doing so on the ball of our foot. You guys will notice when I'm going through these, I'm keeping my hands in tight right over my core. My knee stays bent right up until the kick, and then it chambers back right away. So we don't want our kick to come up and then slide down, okay? So I like to hold my kicks for just like a quarter of a second. So what that does is it really demonstrates good control of the kick. And then I have that nice fold on the leg coming back. Good. We're going to go one more time this way, and then we're going to switch it up again. Keep in mind, if you want to go higher on the kicks, that's totally okay. We want to make sure that we have really solid technique going through, okay? Next one we're going to work on, guys, is going to be a forward stance with a reverse block punch. You guys will notice I'm pulling some aspects out of Taekwondo 6. So the way that this one looks, I'm going to be stepping forward with my left foot, blocking with the same side. So I'm coming across, it's a reverse block, face height. When I come across, the block, I'm chambering, the block is on the outside of my arm. And when I do that block, it shouldn't go past my shoulder. It should stop at my shoulder, and my knuckles should be in line with about my nose, okay? And we want to make sure that we've got a nice strong hip snap on that punch. And of course, we want to make sure we're watching the stance too. So there's lots going on this one. I'm going to start with my left side, okay? So block, punch, block, punch. When we're going through it, really try and stop your movements on a dime, showing high level of control. Starting from that neutral stance again. And back the other way. So the other thing we can do, we turn around, block, and now we start going the other way. And switch, back the other way. Good. Resting. We got a couple more to go here, guys. I checked my lesson plan. Next one we're going to work on, going to be turning kick. So when we do that turning kick, just want to make sure we're getting a nice pivot and then folding the leg back, okay? So we don't want to throw the kick and then just have it fall down. Nice clean pivot, kick, chamber, and bring it back. We're going to start in a left fighting stance. It's going to be going back and forth, okay? Turn kick, down. Down. So I'm having a nice clean pivot every time. Of course, if you can kick higher, go for it. If you're struggling with the mobility or your hips aren't warmed up yet, your hamstrings, just start waist height, build up if you can, okay? Modify as needed, okay? I'm gonna go back the other way. Good, and then back the other way. Block, turn. Good. Really focusing on turning your hips into that kick. That's where my power is going to come from, is my core and my hips when I go through. So I really want to make sure that the hips are snapping nicely when I go through that. The last one we're going to work on for our warm-up, this one's going to be back stances. But our back stances, we're going to be going backwards, just like Taekwondo 6. When I'm doing my back stance, I want to have 70% of my weight in the back, 30% in the front. My fingertips should not be any higher than my shoulders. And when I put my foot back, they should be in line like so. So stepping forward. If it's out here, that's too far. If it came in and lined up and was on the inside of my foot, that's too narrow. We would want it so that it goes like so. Okay, and we're going to be pivoting on the ball of our foot, going backwards, making sure we get lots of volume with our knife hand blocks. And we want to make sure that we stop that knife hand block on a dime. So we don't want to just place it. We want it back. If you'll notice, I can snap my hips into that a little bit. And it's what that does is it gives me that little bit of power and precision that I'm looking for. So we're going to be moving backwards both ways, simulating Taekwondo 6. I'm going to start in a right back stance, coming back. If you'll notice, I try and land the block the same moment that my knife hand is blocking as well, or as my foot is landing rather. Good, and we're going to switch back. The chamber is very important when we go through this one, guys. We want to get it back, so we don't want to have, I like to call it T-Rex blocks, okay? So we don't T-Rex blocks when we're coming across. We want lots of volume coming in back, lots of power, okay? None of these. Okay, we're going to go one more cycle on that one, starting in a left back stance this time. Periodically, guys, just have a look down. That one was pretty good. Have a look down at your stance and see how you're making out with it, because the best way to correct that is by getting that muscle memory. That was pretty good. Getting that muscle memory just perfect. Now the distance in between my back stance should be about 2 of my own foot lengths. So if you're here, that's too long. If you're here, that's too short. It should feel pretty comfortable when you're going through that. Have that little bit of a lean back. Let's grab a quick drink and then we're going to do a real good breakdown on Taekwondo 6. Okay, getting into Taekwondo 6. I like this form quite a bit. As Poomsae, it's got lots of power. When we're going through this, things to consider. We want to make sure that we're taking into account our rhythm and timing, our presentation overall, and our accuracy. So the accuracy is a really big one. If you're getting into sport, Poomsae, accuracy and technical is worth 4 of your 10 points. So every time that your stance is slightly off, that's a 0.1 deduction. So we want to make sure that we're as accurate as possible with the placement of our blocks and our footwork, keeping in mind, if I'm in that forward stance, my feet should be about 2 fist lengths apart, no more, okay? So if I'm out here, it's too wide, okay? That'd be a 0.1 deduction. So I want to make sure that I'm stepping straight back. A good way to drill that one is just stepping back and forward, making sure that that back foot is straight, the front knee is bent. That's a pretty good forward stance. It should be in between 2.5 and 3 of your own feet long. And then again, it should be about 2 of your own fist lengths apart. So lots of opportunity to make sure that we're really focused on the technical side of the Poomsae. We're going to get this one started. I'm going to be doing a front view. Chariot. Gine. Jumbi. It's a 5-second movement. So what I'm going to be doing is turning to my left into a low block in a left forward stance. Now, if you guys notice when I'm doing that one, I'm coming across, I'm snapping my hips into it as I turn. I'm making sure that I have that 2 fist length width on my Poomsae, and I'm making sure my back leg is straight, my front knee is bent, and again, I'm chambering every time. So when I chamber, my hand comes down, block. When I go to do the punch, or when I punch, my other hand assists and it chambers. So I would block, punch. We don't want it to look robotic. We want it to look like it has a human element to it. We definitely want to make sure that each technique we're incorporating chambering and use of our hips to make it really have a nice presentation. We're going to go through the first 4 movements from Junbi. Turning to my left, forward stance, low block. Kick, reverse block, okay? Landing in my back stance. Now I'm going to pick up my right foot, turn to my other side, low block, forward stance. Kick, chamber, back stance. Now if you'll notice when I'm doing my chamber, my inside hand comes inside my body and I block coming across. I want to make sure that I've got that chamber and I can snap my hips into it. It makes it look a lot more powerful, feels a lot more powerful. Let's go through those first 4 movements again. From Junbi, I'm going to turn, low block. Now when I do that kick, I want to make sure that I'm still folding the leg back, getting a proper chamber. Kick, reverse block in that back stance. Check your feet. That one's a little bit long. That's probably a little bit better. That would have been a 0.1 deduction. So I'm going to pick up my right foot as I pivot on the ball of my foot, not the heel. Coming around, and if you'll notice, my block completes as my foot touches the ground. Now I'm going to do my kick, chamber, block. Okay? So those are the first 4 movements, really checking those back stances. That's typically where I struggle the most, is my front foot will either come in this way or my back foot tends to go off on a 45-degree angle, which, bad foot, you're not supposed to do that, okay? So I'm back here, okay? The next one I'm going to do is going to be a rising block in a forward stance. Now my body should be somewhat bladed when I do this one. And again, that block, the knife hand is on an angle. My fingertips should be, or my fingers should be in line with my own peltrum. I don't want it too high, I don't want it too low. And if you guys will notice, I'm using my hips when I go through that block. It's not coming out here. Okay, so that's a tricky movement when I'm coming across. Keep in mind, if my right hand is out, my left foot should be in front. We're going to get later on in the pattern and it's going to be opposite. Okay, let's go up to that point together. From Junbi, turning to my left, low block. Kick, reverse block. Low block. Kick, reverse block. Rising block in a forward stance. Now, next thing I'm going to do is my turn kick. I'm going to do a turn kick straight forward. Coming across, landing. When I land, I should be just beyond shoulder width apart. If my feet are too narrow, it's going to mess up my stances later on, okay? So I want to land feet just beyond shoulder width. So I did my block, kick with a proper fold of the leg, coming back, landing down. Now I'm going to step forward with a left forward stance, reverse block, punch, kick, chamber, punch. I want you guys to watch my hips when I do that, particularly on the blocks and the punches. Watch how I snap my hips. It's very important to get that snap. You can really make the poomsae pop when you do it that way. So I just did my kick, coming down when I come across, okay? So the block, it's a reverse face block in a forward stance, punch. Keep in mind, all the punches and the kicks are connected, so we don't want it to look like a robot is performing the poomsae. It very much needs to have a human element to it. Coming across and I do my turn kick down. So robotic would look like this. We don't want that. We want the nice chambers, the flow. We want our hips snapping, okay? My body should still be on the same level. It shouldn't be bobbing up and down unless my legs are straight. Otherwise, it should be pretty steady, okay? So we're going to get back to that movement. We're going to finish the other side, and then we're going to go through it together. So I just did my turn kick, landing. Now is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go back around the other way, turning a 180. So I'm going to pick up my right foot and turn towards my right. I'm going to do the same sequence. Reverse block. Check your stance. Are you in a good forward stance? This one's not bad. Reverse block, punch. Kick, chamber, punch. Check your stance again. Is that a good stance? A good way to check? Bring your foot straight back. That one's not bad. It's about 2 feet apart, or 2 fist lengths apart. So the tendency is sometimes they look quite wide. So we want to make sure if you're getting into the sport poomsae, 2 fists apart is the standard, and it does make it look quite sharp. Okay, from the beginning, from June B. We're going to turn to our left, low block, kick, chamber, reverse block. Other side now, low block, kick, chamber, block. Left foot steps forward as I do my knife hand block. I'm in a forward stance right now. I'm going to do a turn kick, landing, reverse block, punch, kick, punch. Keep in mind the block and the punch are connected, so they should follow each other in sequence. You see how I did that? Reverse block, punch, kick, hold my hand out for the chamber. If you can get that chambering in with your hand, it's going to feel significantly stronger. It does take some practice to get used to. Let's take a 20-second water break, and then we're going to resume the poomsae. Okay. Let's go a little bit further. Okay, so we're in that parallel stance, or June B. Together again with me, turning to my left, forward stance, low block, kick, reverse block. Pick up my right foot, pivoting on the ball of my foot, low block, kick, reverse block. Check that back stance. That one's actually pretty good. Might be a little bit long, but my foot coming back is almost perfect, which is pretty cool. Okay, I'm going to pick up my left foot, knife hand block. Check the height of that knife hand block. You don't want it too high, too low, and we definitely can't have it out to the side, okay? So I'm twisting into the block. I'm going to do my turn kick, pivoting on the ball of my foot with a proper chamber, step down, reverse block, punch. Kick, chamber, punch. Check your forward stance. See, that one's maybe a little bit short. Okay, so I want to pick up that front foot, reverse block, punch. And that's a reverse face block, remember. Punch. Kick, chamber, punch. From there, I'm going to pick up my left foot. I'm going to come back into a parallel stance with my hands in a cross position, simulating a cross block coming down low. It could also be someone grabbing your lapel, something like that. Coming down. Now, I'm starting at the collar. This is a 5-second slow movement. So I'm coming down. Watch how my right hand comes over my left, right around my belt or my belly button when I'm coming through that. And I come down and I off to the side. Now, when my fists are off to the side, they should be in fists. Should be about 2 of my own fist lengths off my belt. So we don't want it up here. We don't want it down here, okay? So you're here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we hold, okay? Let's go back to that movement again. So it came to this side, reverse block, punch, kick, chamber, chamber, punch. Sorry, wrong chamber, guys. Left foot comes to right, and I'm in that parallel stance. Left is over the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now is what I'm going to do is I'm going to simulate that same movement earlier when I had my left foot with my right hand. Now I'm going to do it with my right foot and my left hand. I still want to have the same mechanics of that. So when I'm coming across, I'm still snapping my hip. My knife hand block is not beyond my shoulder. My elbow should be down. I should be in a nice strong knife hand. And my fingers should be in line with my own peltrum, okay? So I came across, block. Now I'm going to do a very similar movement that I did before, but instead of a coming across, turn kick, and then Facing to my open side, I'm going to do a turn kick, down, step, and now I'm going to turn 180 degrees to my right. So there's quite a bit going on with that one, okay? So let's go back to that. We're going to do our reverse face block, punch, kick, chamber, punch. Parallel stance, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Knife hand block. Now I'm going to do a turn kick. Aye! Land. My feet should be about just beyond shoulder width apart. I'm going to back up so you guys get a better view. Okay, so now I'm going to turn 180 degrees into a low block, forward stance. Okay, so let's do that again. Block. Aye! And then come around and block. So this movement, there's a fair bit going on. This part requires a fair bit of practice if you want to get the footwork and the timing down just right. That's the basic mechanics of it though. We do our block. The key up is on the kick for this poomsae. Aye! Down. Pick up my right foot, pivoting on my left foot on the ball of my foot, not the heel. Okay? Pivot, low block. Check your stance. That stance is pretty good, okay? Now what I'm going to do is do my kick, reverse block. When I do that movement, again guys, when I do my kick with my reverse block, keep in mind, my chamber's on the inside of my arm, and it comes back. So it doesn't start in front, it's behind. And you should be able to feel your hip snap when you go through that one. My knuckles should not be any higher than my shoulder on this one. When my hand gets parked on my belt, it should be a fist on my belt. It shouldn't be towards my knot or up too high. It's right on my belt, okay? Okay, let's go back to that spot. We're gonna do both sides, okay? So I just finished my reverse face block, punch, kick, chamber, punch. Cross block, slow movement going down, checking the accuracy of where my hands are. I step forward with my right foot, and again, I did that chamber, coming back, my hand's on the inside of my blocking hand. Okay, my left foot is going to do a turn kick. Aye! Step down, pivot on the left foot, low block. Check your stance. That's a pretty good one there. Kick, reverse block. Check your stance. That one's pretty good too. Now I'm going to pick up my left foot. I'm going to turn 180 degrees to the other side. I'm going to transition from a back stance into a forward stance. So again, I want to do my chamber. You guys notice when I did that, back up for you. I'm here in my back stance. Knuckles are not higher than the shoulders. This hand comes around, down low. And what it's going to do is it's my chambering hand. Think of it like I'm peeling a carrot. Sound effects are free. Okay, so I come back. I'm in that back stance, reverse block. Pick up my left foot, pivot on my right ball of my foot, under block. And if you'll notice, I'm twisting. My pinky is on my shoulder, and it comes down, snaps. It snaps going through, and it gives it that rotational speed, okay? So from there, coming around to the other side, block, kick, reverse block, okay? Let's go through that sequence one more time. I'm going to step forward with my right foot, and I did my knife hand block. I'm going to do my turn kick, aye, down, low block, kick, reverse block, back stance. Other side, low block, kick, reverse block, back stance. Now to finish the kata, this is a very fun way to finish this kata if you can incorporate chambering with the hands. It feels very, very strong. It does take a fair amount of practice to make it look right. Once you can get it down though, your power is going to feel like it's really, really jacked up, okay? So I come back to this side. I just did my reverse block, low block, kick, reverse block, back stance. Now I'm going to do 2 back stances. I'm going to pivot on my left foot, back stance. Check your stance, okay? Make sure you get a nice chamber. I'm going to back up a bit for you guys, okay? I'm going to bring my hands all the way back. You guys notice I snap my hips into that block. Now I'm going to hold my right hand out, push block, punch, okay? I want you guys to watch how I did that. So this is chambering the blocks, okay? And this is kind of a tougher concept. This is one of the tougher poomsae when it comes to one of the tougher poomsae for color belts when it comes to how to chamber properly to finish off the poomsae. So I'm going to be knife hand block, knife hand block. Now my right hand stays in front. Forward stance, push block or palm block right down the center line of my body, and it should be right in front of my solar plexus. Punch. Now I'm going to take my left hand to chamber as I step back with my left foot. Palm block, punch. Take my right foot, step back, tension, bow. We're going to go through that one a couple more times. We're going to start this one off in a right back stance, knife hand blocks. So I'm going to pivot on my right foot as I chamber back, snapping my hips as I move into that knife hand block. Again, when I'm going through my knife hand blocks, I want to make sure my fingertips are not higher than my shoulder, okay? My hand should be right around my solar plexus, so it's not down, okay? It's coming back, and it's in that nice, almost like a horizontal type position. So I'm going to do 2 sides twice with the back stance. 1, 2. Now twice with a forward stance. So my right hand is going to stay in the front, push block, punch. Now my left hand is going to step forward, push block, punch. So I end in a reverse punch. There's no kia at the end of this poomsae. This is the first poomsae up to 6 where there's no kia at the end. So as you go through, you'll find that there's more and more that have interesting spots where the kias are. Okay, let's get back into that. Let's go through the whole poomsae this time. Okay, let's go follow along. Let's go follow along rear. So this is going to be following along exactly as the poomsae should look. Attention, bow. So it's going to be follow along. Junbi, Taekwondo 6 with me, and Hana. Do, set, net, Hana. Do, set, net, Hana. Do, set, net, ai, Hana. Do, set, net, Hana. Do, Kumo. Chariot. Guinea. Hope you guys enjoyed that section. We're going to go through a review in the front, and then we're going to move on. Let's just grab a quick drink of water, guys. I probably need it more than you do. Poomsae and kata, 2 of my favorite aspects, or my favorite aspect of martial arts. Okay, we're going to do a follow along with the front. I'm going to call it out. Following along with me by number. Chariot, Guinea, Junbi, Taekwondo 6 on my count, and Hana. Do, set, net, Hana. Do, set, net, hana, do, set, net, ai, hana, do, set, net, hana, do, set, kumo, chariot, gine. Good. Good work today, guys. Let's do a quick cool down. Let's start with the shoulders, work our way down. Hope you guys had a good workout today. I do enjoy Taekwondo 6 quite a bit. Feels like it's got quite a bit of power. I like the finish in particular on that poomsae. The movement's going back. With the chambering, it feels really strong. Good. Just going back and forth. Get those hips stretched out. I'm going to do some knee circles. Right knee up. Some big circles. Good job, guys. Okay, and back the other way. Good, and other side. And other way. Good. Okay, we're going to have a seat. Let's extend our left leg. Just gentle pulses. Hana, do, set, net, down and hold, dasat, yasat, ilgup, yodul, ahop, yol, other side, right leg out, pulsing, and hana, do, set, net, down and hold, dasat, yasat, ilgup, yodul, ahop, yol. Okay, and let's go butterfly. Just gentle butterflies. Okay, quick trivia time for you guys. See if you can get the terminology. Punch. Punch is, type it in if you know, jarugi. Good. Next one, kick. Kick is chagi. Good. Next one, block. Block is maki. Good. Standing up. Just stretch those quads out just a little bit. It's a little bit of a balance exercise too. Good. And the other way. Excellent. We're going to bow out, and then if anyone has any questions, we can do some questions. Chariot. And Ginye. Great training with you guys. It was awesome. Really enjoyed it. If anyone has any questions, feel free to send me a message. Okay, no questions. Have a great night, guys. It was awesome training with you.